The first thing I saw was the tow truck. At first, nothing about it seemed unusual. Tow trucks pass through our street all the time. Someone forgets to move their car. Someone parks in a fire lane. Normal neighborhood stuff. But as I turned into my driveway, I noticed something strange. The tow truck wasn't parked on the street, it was halfway inside my driveway, and the car it was lifting was mine. For a moment my brain refused to process it, because there's a very simple rule most people understand. You don't tow a car from someone's own driveway. Yet there it was, my sedan hanging slightly off the ground, while the hydraulic lifts wind beneath it. Standing beside the truck was Denise Harrow, president of the Crestwood Hills HOA Arms. Folded. Watching the whole thing like she was supervising construction. When she saw me step out of my car, she smiled. Not the friendly kind. The kind people wear when they believe they've already won. "Oh, good," she said. "You're back. This was my house." I walked up slowly, trying to understand what kind of misunderstanding could possibly lead to this. "Why is my car on that truck?" Denise adjusted the clipboard in her hands like she was about to read a legal statement. "Your vehicle is parked in a restricted community access lane." I blinked. Then I looked around. The driveway. My garage, my house, my driveway is a community access lane. Denise nodded confidently. "Yes." That was the moment I realized this wasn't a mistake. This was an HOA power move. And if you've ever dealt with an HOA before, you know exactly what that means. Somewhere in a binder full of bylaws and technical language, someone finds a sentence they think gives them authority, then they run with it. Except Denise had missed one small detail, a very important detail. I am not part of their HOA. When I bought this house 4 years ago, that was the first thing I checked. No dues, no board, no neighborhood regulations, just my property, my driveway, and apparently my car being hauled away from it. I turned to the tow truck driver. "Who called this in?" He pointed directly at Denise. "She authorized it." Denise lifted the clipboard slightly. "As HOA president, I enforce parking compliance." Parking compliance? On my property. I took out my phone. Cancelled the tow. The driver hesitated. "Once the tow order is signed, I can't cancel it without authorization." Denise crossed her arms. "You should have read the neighborhood guidelines." That's when I called the police. Not yelling. Not angry. Just calm. Because calm makes people like Denise nervous. When the dispatcher answered, I kept it simple. "I need an officer. Someone is attempting to tow my vehicle from my private driveway." Denise actually laughed. "You're calling the police on the HOA?" "Yep." 10 minutes later, a patrol car pulled up. The officer stepped out and walked toward us. The first thing he asked was simple. "Whose vehicle is this?" "Mine," I said. He nodded. Then he looked at Denise, who ordered the tow. She stepped forward like she was presenting evidence. "The HOA authorized it. The vehicle is parked in a restricted community access lane." The officer looked at the driveway, then at the house, then back at her. "Is the homeowner a member of your association?" Denise hesitated only for a second. "He lives within the community boundary." The officer turned to me. "Are you part of this HOA?" "No." I opened the county plat map on my phone and showed him the property lines. "My parcel is outside their jurisdiction." He studied it carefully. Then he looked at Denise. "This property isn't under your HOA." The tow driver slowly lowered my car back onto the driveway. The hydraulic lift hissed as the tires touched the concrete again. Denise's confident smile faded slightly. "But the driveway connects to the community road," she argued. "That still doesn't give you authority to tow a vehicle from private property." The officer replied. The driver disconnected the hooks and climbed back into his truck. The situation should have ended right there. But Denise wasn't the kind of person who walked away quietly. 2 days later, I received a letter. Violation notice. According to the HOA, my driveway was interfering with community access. They demanded I remove part of my landscaping and redesign the driveway entrance, which would cost thousands of dollars. That's when I decided to dig deeper. I pulled the original property records, the survey map, county planning documents. And that's when I found something interesting. The community access lane Denise claimed authority over didn't exist. Not on the county map, not on the developer plans, not anywhere. In fact, the official survey clearly showed my driveway was entirely within my property boundary. No shared easement. No HOA control, just private land. I printed everything and sent it to an attorney. Her name was Laura Pike. Laura looked through the documents and smiled. This HOA just made a very expensive mistake. The next board meeting was held the following Thursday. Residents filled the room. Denise stood at the front, giving her presentation about community compliance. Then Laura stood up. She didn't raise her voice. She simply placed the county survey on the table. "This document proves that HOA has no authority over this property." Then she placed the police report beside it. "And this confirms an illegal tow attempt." The room went silent. Denise tried to interrupt, but Laura had one more document. A letter prepared for the county office and a civil court filing. "If the HOA continues enforcing regulations on non-member property," she said calmly, "we will pursue damages." That's when everything changed. Within a week, the HOA rescinded every violation notice. They issued a written apology. They even reimbursed the towing fee. Denise resigned from the board. A month later, apparently trying to tow someone's car from their own driveway isn't great for your reputation. A few weeks after that, the title company confirmed something important. My property had never been part of their HOA. Not legally, not historically, not even accidentally. The lesson here is simple. People like Denise believe authority comes from confidence. But real authority comes from records. Paper trails have a funny way of ending power trips. And if you want more real stories about HOA overreach, property rights, and how ordinary homeowners push back against abuse, make sure you subscribe. Because the next story, that one started with a fence and ended with a bulldozer.